This week's podcast is brought to you by Factor. Factor makes healthy eating simple with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So you can eat great warm meals without the planning or having to cook it yourself. Factor includes quality, functional ingredients like lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. There are no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. You sign up and pick your meal preference, including special diets. Then each week, you get to choose between a variety of 100 options. Your food is shipped to you directly. All you have to do is open the package, heat it up, and enjoy. Their meals are always fresh, never frozen, and ready to eat in about 2 minutes. Head to www.factormeals.com/Lewis50off and use code Lewis50off to get 50% off your order. And new subscribers only get free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor.
This could all go horribly wrong at any minute.
Hello there, and welcome to the 255th edition of Whistlefuck's Rantcast, entitled "My Puppy Has More Empathy." That's right. That's this week's title. I'm running out of. I don't know. The amount of space being taken up in my head by the amount of crap that I have to remember that occurred during the week, and to find a way to find a title that encompasses the fucking nonsense. So now I'm turning to the fact that my dog Sammy, who just turned 1 at the beginning of February, he has more empathy. More humanity, more respect, more of, I think, possibly a sense of history, and certainly more interest in the American people than a lot of our leadership. I take him for a walk every day, and he seems to be, just thrilled to meet people of all colors, of all shapes, and of all sizes. Can't wait to, express his love for them, no matter even their sexuality, anything, any difference at all. It doesn't matter to Sammy. He is right there, willing to just flood anyone, really everybody with his love, except for me. I got to really work at it, and he's not. He's laying out there now. I've tried to bring him in here. He came in today. He hates the office. He hates this computer. I hate this computer, and I don't know how long this. Every time I start this, I think this will be a short one, and it just may, because I'm really I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of talking about it. I feel like does it really help if I repeat the insanity, the nonsense? Even they got a shit on the Olympics. Sammy loves the Olympics. He's been watching part of the time with me. I'm not watching a ton of them, but I'm watching enough. And he's very excited about it, much more so than the president, who gets really upset, and Rick Scott, who gets disturbed by the comments made by one of our Olympians. I'm not going to mention his name because he deserves his sense of privacy and humanity. He called, actually, his name's Hunter Hess, and he's a freestyle skier, whatever that is. I don't ski. It's not my thing. I just have never been. I don't like being cold, so I'm not out there. I was raised in Maryland, but that's beside the point. But our president, after Hess made some comments about it being tough to have to take the kind of, the questions that folks have for him out there in terms of what's going on in the United States, which I faced a while ago when I was there, and I'll no doubt be hearing about when I go to Canada. And then he made comments and said, it's tough to represent the United States at a point when you don't agree with what's going on there. And that's just called freedom of speech. That's what that is. It's difficult for him, and he's young, okay? Young, and and really striving to just come back with the goal, but devoted the whole fucking ton of his life to it. Okay? And the president of the United States has to call him a loser? What the fuck? Come on! You know? And Rick Scott, too. You know, boy, we ought to punish these people, these athletes who make these comments. What the fuck is the matter with them? My dog barks and cheers for them. That's what he does. Sammy's just, it's extraordinary to me. Okay? Punish him. What's the, both of you, Scott, and the president, hey, shut the fuck up. All right? Okay? These kids have devoted their time, effort, energy to compete for us. What have you two done? You ran for office? Are you shitting me? Huh? One of them had a TV show? Bro, oh boy. What is the matter? Please, get the fuck out of the things that bring happiness to us and to our puppy population. God damn it. So beyond stupid. It really is, week after week of you fucking cluttering up. I don't care if you are upset about Bill Maher at this point. You got to spit this stuff out. And then it ends up in the news. And the news, as a result, doesn't do what the news should be doing. Huh? Ask the right questions. Okay? Son of a bitch, try to. But my dog barking is asking a better question. It's... What the fuck are you thinking out there? Okay? If they are arresting all of these people and they're violent, these immigrants, they're violent, these folks who they believe came into the country illegally and are criminals, how many are criminals? Okay? What's the percentage of the people that they arrested that are criminals? How come we have, those of us out here watching, don't have any understanding at all of, what's going on in terms of once you put these people behind bars who are Americans and take them and do things that have been unspeakable at times and putting them in situations. Jimmy Raskin last week visited one of these places in Maryland and just talked about how horrific the conditions are. And it ought to be filmed. It ought to be filmed. It's called news. And and there's once again, no accountability. No one is punished. It's just, okay, well, they just made some mistakes. They just shot a few people, We'll get to it when we get to it. Kristi Noem tries to fire a guy, her pilot, a Coast Guard pilot of the plane, because he forgot her blanky. He forgot her blanky. He forgot her blanky. What the fuck? She couldn't find the blankie. She might be upset. Fired him. Seriously, what level of entitlement are these people at this point? Huh? What level is she at? I left my blankie. You bastard. I must fire you. God damn it. You don't get to do that, all right? Go there, look for your blankie, get it, okay? Or ask him, say, I'm sorry, but you made a mistake, and and why should the somebody explain to me why the pilot on the plane should be getting her blanket? Can anybody? She got nobody, she hasn't got an assistant who can get her blanket, and then she could fire the assistant? Huh? Really? This is stupefying. That's the news. Not what she's doing. Not how she's handling the shit that's occurring. Not how Holman is. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take these guys out. We're going to leave 1,200. Come on. Jesus. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm flabbergasted. Pam Bondi sits there in front of Congress and says things that I'm not going to repeat. Okay? And I'm not. And my Sammy has more respect for Congress than her. and the head of the committee, whose name I can't remember, who's usually a pain in the ass, even he was like appalled. I have to look it up because I probably repressed it. His name is Jim Jordan. Unbelievable. And even he was appalled in the way in which Pam Bondi was treating and reacting to the congressman without any level of respect. Okay? Children are watching this, all right? You are supposed to respect them. They are supposed to respect you. That is what we are supposed to be teaching our children. This is how we govern ourselves, is what we must say in the way in which we act, in the language that we use. My dog barking, okay? My dog barking is showing much more respect than the stuff that was coming out of her, spewing is the word I would use, out of her mouth, okay? Her job was to, while this group that is behind her of victims, all right? And nobody's dealing with it, and the Epstein thing just is a vomitorium. And boy, is it a distraction. And do I think is that why? I don't know if he did anything wrong. I don't know what the president did, if it was wrong, right? I don't know. I do know that I think that he loves it there because it is a distraction to everything else, and he can just babble on. You know, he can go, boy, that Bill Maher, he really fucked up everything for me. That he can put out that photo, which he put out, and he put out on Truth Social, of the Obamas, the racist photo, which which nobody really, as far as I'm concerned, dealt with properly. Not even in terms of the questioning. All right? That should have been just as much a priority in terms of where he's coming from this week. Tim Scott, boy, if that's the way he... Are you kidding me, Tim Scott? That's all you had to say? God. It's more than I can bear. My puppy knows more about climate change. Okay? How do I know that? I'm just pretty sure of it. I know it because my puppy is doing nothing to stop folks kind of working on climate change. So the EPA repealed the regulations on greenhouse gases. And as far as I can tell from everything that I've read, from everything that I've heard, all of these things that they keep trying to take and roll back and get us back into the 1950s and to make sure kids will have more asthma because of this, it has to be, it's enough, it's fuck enough. Okay? Because of why? Because we stand to make more money as a country? It doesn't fucking matter. God gave us a garden, we're supposed to protect the garden. That's it. Even if you don't believe in climate change. Okay? But it's real. And it's happening. And you can tell how because there are chunks of ice falling off of Antarctica and Greenland and fucking just one thing after another is affected by it. Okay? And even if it's not, all right? Even if it's not, it is what you should do, all right? Because we now have the power to allow ourselves to have a cleaner environment. As I said at one point, it took a while for the idiots who lived in a castle to realize that they had to stop shitting in the moat because they were drinking out of it. They had indoor plumbing, and then they were drinking out of the results of the indoor plumbing. I can't, and that's what we're doing. We are shitting where we eat. And that's how I know Sammy knows, because he does not. With the option of going to the bathroom on the terrace, in the ice, and in the cold, knows it's his. It's his place. It's where it's his. And what does he do? He doesn't shit there. He doesn't. okay? When he kind of is forced to, all right? And when it's too much, then he does. And he's done it maybe twice since I got him 7 months ago, okay? Unbelievable. More of a sense of it. And the mRNA back, we're not gonna allow them to, the FDA, really, which is being run by a group of people who seem to be wearing a version of the Ku Klux Klan outfit, only it's more of a kind of an anti-science outfit. So they're just holes in the eyes, and they wear hoods, so we will not know who they are afterwards. They've decided that they are not going to test or allow the tests that were done by Moderna on coming up with an mRNA flu vaccine. Okay? Boom. Enough. Enough is fucking enough. Okay? This has got to stop. All right? They did it. They basically an experiment that took place about 49,000 people, and they are not going to test it anymore. They will not pass on it, and so other countries will have it. So that's where I'll fly to get it, because it's a great vaccine. It's a huge step forward for us to be able to create mRNA vaccines, because it allows our body to create the antibody. We do not get so you don't need the infection itself in order to, in the vaccine. No, you don't. It's a cleaner way to do it. As long as we have to fight this shit, and we're going to have to fight it, and mRNA seems to be doing it faster. And maybe, I will repeat yet again, the way in which we deal with cancer. There may be vaccines for cancer, and the way in which to do it is an mRNA shot, which may evolve into something else. No, let's just be a bunch of ignorant dumb fucks and go back to another time, okay? What about leeches, you fucking morons? What about leeches? The FDA approved the use of leeches today. Enough. And before I forget, in the midst of all of this, in the midst of us not getting the information that we need to get in order to operate as a functioning democracy, Jeff Bezos guts the Post. Unbelievable. Well, he should have. Yeah, he should have. But, no, okay? He slowly has kind of, bloodletted and finally just said, fuck it. Democracy dies in darkness, 2 or 3 years ago, was the masthead. And he put it right out there. And then he decided, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to just keep losing, and he lost me. Because I had continued to maintain the subscription to it because of my folks. And even after they passed, because I felt it was important, because I felt I owed it to the Post because of what it did for me as a kid by giving me some of that. First off, one of the greatest sports writers ever, for those of you who don't know, and look him up, if you have any interest in sports, he's Maury Povich's father, Shirley Povich, if you wonder where Maury had his bent in terms of, working in journalism. And you can yell and scream all you want about Maury, but I really have enjoyed him and enjoyed knowing him, and he's been a friend. But his father was truly remarkable, a remarkably gifted sports reporter, and wrote about sports poetically. There's been a few of them. Roger Angell is another one that comes to mind immediately. Peter Gammons is that, but Shirley Povich, when I was a kid, wow, shaped the way I look at sports. you know? Can't beat that from a newspaper. They just had great writers. Oh, what? Oh, really? Watergate? Yeah. And for that fucking alone, you maintain it. For that alone, it should have been maintained. But nah. Let's flush it down the toilet, Jeff Bezos says. But and then there are people saying he shouldn't. He's got more money than God, okay? There's a ton of ways he can do this. A ton of ways this could be done and help it survive. And he didn't even make that attempt. It's awful. It is just fucking awful. Also, the world's greatest political cartoonist, Herb Block, who literally would encapsulate what was occurring, especially with McCarthy, which I didn't as a kid know, but boy, during Watergate, no greater satire occurring. None. Mark Russell doing a brilliant job, certainly, and others, but wow. Herb Block in terms of political cartoon. Every day, let me see it. What do I need to know? He certainly told me and certainly enlightened me and certainly gave me a way to look at things. That was what that paper did, okay? As much as I got from satire, I learned an incredible amount from the Washington Post. I learned how to look at news. I learned, as much as I learned from satire, how to deal with authority, I learned just as much from the Washington Post and what has occurred here and what's occurring in other newspapers around the country is a sin and a shame. If for nothing else, they take a resume and read it, and have passed a way on in which to write about what is happening in our world. It's that simple. Jeff Bezos could have, if he's not going to pay the folks that he's employing to do, that 2-day shipping, if he's not going to pay them properly, then at least maintain this. Or why did he buy it? Huh? So that he could make these decisions that would then undercut it, and then he turns around and says, well, I'm not going to support it anymore. I'm just going to turn it into a rag. Well, here we go. Something to line that parakeet page, that's for sure. Won't even have to read it. Just get it, put it on the cage, and let the bird shit on it. Wow. Rest in peace, Washington Post. Rest in peace. And finally, because it's haunted me all week, I heard in the background a few days ago, for the first time in forever, the Chevrolet theme song. See the USA in your Chevrolet. America is asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. Now this may just have to do with the Olympics. I don't know. All I know is it was played during the early 50s to the early 60s, in the time frame in which America was going through all of the things that it seems that there's a group of Americans, some are really in office as we end, and it will be thrown out of office when I run Sammy the Pup for president. No! Stop, Lewis. They seem to want to go back there. So to hear that fucking theme song, like back from the dead, like a theme song from a horror movie, is the only way I can describe it. It is just haunting. It's, God, like having ghosts wander around. All right? God, I cannot believe Chevrolet bought it back. I'd love to know the thinking there. I'd love to know, boy, it's not nostalgic. It's nauseating. And enough is enough. President Trump told attendees at the National Prayer Breakfast, what a joy that they still do that he doesn't sleep on planes, preferring instead to spend his time, this is, seriously, looking out the window, watching for missiles and enemies. In the clouds? In the clouds. I mean, I wish the prayer breakfast had something to do with praying for a better reality to live in. That would be nice. I hope hearing these rants help. We've had some great ones come in, and we continue to, and I continue to ask you to send them to me, please. And I look forward to seeing you out there in the end of February, the last 2 days of February. I'll be in the Firekeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan, where I'll be picking up some cereal boxes and then just the boxes. And on to London, Ontario. I look forward to those. And I think maybe going over the Gordie Howe Bridge if that's working. I'm getting, I won't even talk about it. We'll see. I'll let you know once I do it. But thank you again for continuing to send me those extraordinary rants. And thank you for the privilege and the pleasure of reading them, and for you for listening to them. It's really a joy for me. And Sammy would talk to you, but he's preparing some speeches, some stump speeches to do along the way, trying to figure out which bark to use first. Or, we'll see. I'll be working with him on it. My friend Mark Metcalf is a wonderful actor, but he's also, it turns out, he's a fine writer and has been as his own Substack, or however they call it. I'm not sure, but I wanted to share with you what he had to say about the Bad Bunny concert at the Super Bowl. Thank you for this, Mark. The Bad Bunny performance at halftime of the Super Bowl was like watching a Diego Rivera mural come to life and start singing and dancing. Bad Bunny led the camera through the story of Puerto Rico and Spanish-speaking people today in America, heading first for the food, then following the street life, the joy, the community, the love, the lust, and always the music and the rhythm, following it right to the heart of the people. Even the cane was alive with people. There were people slightly swaying inside the clumps of grass that formed a maze around the center of the field as Bad Bunny found his way amongst his liberated and freedom-loving people. The poseur currently inhabiting the White House didn't like it. The man who openly admits loving to fondle underage girls, who has forced himself on women in department stores, who can't help grabbing them by the genitals and feels it's his right as a star to do so, thought the dancing was disgusting. It was not the American he envisions, because everyone was not looking at him. They were looking at the man in the white suit, the man with the voice of romance, the man with the heat, the man with the love, the man who celebrates family, children, women, and above all, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Bad Bunny stood on the roof of a battered pickup and told America just how great it is, how great it can be, because it embraces all comers, because it believes in the people who work, the people who live, breathe, create, get their hands dirty, laugh, sing, dance, and grope their way to the joy at the end of the rainbow that we have always promised. Bad Bunny celebrates life while Donald J. Trump sees nothing but death all around him. The football game left a lot to be desired, but the halftime show was worth the price of admission. 135 million people watched Bad Bunny, while 6 million watched the alternative offered up by the wife of the man who used Christianity like a knife to stab and twist hate into the souls of young white Americans who are being taught to fear and hate the other, the ones who are different, the ones who speak differently, whose skin is darker, who like their food hot and spicy, the ones who dance while they work because they love life, and life equals love, with the sound of a fricative for good vibrations. This week's podcast is brought to you by Factor. It's winter, and if extremely cold days really just make you want to stay at home, hibernate, and do nothing, or if you're like me and still just as busy as hell, you need to make time to eat well. That's where Factor can make your life easy. Factor makes healthy eating simple with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So you can eat great warm meals without the planning or having to cook it yourself. That's always a plus for me. Factor includes quality, functional ingredients like lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. There are no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. Here's how it works. You sign up and pick your meal preference, including special diets like calorie management, keto, vegetarian, or vegan, amongst others. They even have snacks and drinks. Then each week, you get to choose between a variety of 100 options based on your subscription. Your food is shipped to you directly. All you have to do is open the package, heat it up, and enjoy. Their meals are always fresh, never frozen, and ready to eat in about 2 minutes. No prep and stress for me. I just checked out this week's menu, and I'm excited to try their Italian sausage pizziola, their mashed potato pork chop, and their roasted garlic chicken. Those all sound delicious. So head to www.factormeals.com/Lewis50off and use code Lewis50off to get 50% off your order. And new subscribers only get free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. Varies by plan. 1 free breakfast item per box for 1 year while your subscription is active. This comes to us from Vera B. We have a couple in a row that talk about Bad Bunny. I will never understand why people are so upset about music with Spanish lyrics. I cannot remember the last time I understood a lyric in a popular song. 1970? 1980? And if I understood the lyric, did I even understand what the fuck it meant? Many of our songs are full of ghetto slang, gangster rap, and words that would get your mouth washed out with soap if the nuns heard you. Many of them depict women badly. Most I wouldn't want kids to hear. So here comes a worldwide superstar with a joyful message in another language that speaks to a large segment of the world. Shocking. And MAGA would rather listen to someone sing about fucking underage girls on a grifter network. You can't fix stupid. No, you can't, Vera B. Thank you for sharing. And this from Madeline Feliciano. Hello, Lewis. After watching my Bad Bunny mini concert at the Super Bowl, I felt compelled to write this rant before anyone complained. First of all, it was an amazing show. I danced and was super proud of Benito. It was a bit politically motivated, yes. The part with the electric poles blowing up, which happens often in Puerto Rico, Benito did that on purpose, because no matter how much we have asked the government for help with upgrading the electric grid, it has been ignored. But that is beside the point. The show was fun, and for all who didn't like it, kiss my lily-white Puerto Rican ass. You complained that a foreigner was doing the Super Bowl, but we are American citizens. Ricky Martin is an American. Lady Gaga is an American. And Bad Bunny is an American. All you who complain, go eat at Spanish restaurants. Enjoy the food. And if a beautiful Spanish woman or a handsome Spanish man walks by you, you stop and look. Fuck you. Shut up now. Please. It's over now. Well put, Madeline. Well put. And they did bitch and moan, didn't they? Wow, it's just incredible. And in the end, why? How? Make it political? What the fuck is the matter with them? What is the matter with all? It's not political. It's a music concert. Good God. As I said last week, my friend Alicia put it, it was the Bad Bunny concert with a football game. From Andrew Ritwoh. What in the actual fuck just happened to the Washington Post? They laid off over 30% of their staff, eliminated the sports department, and greatly reduced the number of foreign affairs and local metro reporters. The Post had a well-deserved reputation as a paragon of journalism, and now it is a shell of its former self. Son of a bitch. Like you, Lewis, I grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I've been an avid reader of the Post for over 55 years. Carl Bernstein of Watergate reporting fame is also from Silver Spring. He is one of the hundreds, if not thousands, of talented and insightful reporters, journalists, investigators, reviewers, humorists, and columnists whose excellent work has graced the Post. There are way too many to list here. Over the years, the Post has provided in-depth reporting, informative analysis, and opinions from many different angles, and investigative pieces that were second to none, covering national, local, international sports and entertainment pieces on a regular and consistent basis. And now, it's been gutted. Fuck! To be clear, I'm not a cranky old man lamenting the days of yore. I'm just a cranky old man. I know that newspapers are experiencing significant challenges due to evolving technologies, changing reader habits, and attacks on freedom of the press. That said, how is it that Jeff Bezos, who had the vision and talent to create the world's dominant online marketplace behemoth and has owned the Post for over a dozen years, has been unable to create a business model that would maintain the Post's standards of excellence and still be profitable? How is it that Mr. Bezos can spend $50 million on his wedding in Venice, but cannot afford to keep a talented core of experienced journalism professionals? And how can Mr. Bezos spend $70 million on the Melania documentary that earned a whopping $7 million in its first week? A fine return on that investment while running the Post into the ground? Fuckity fuck. And therein is the kick in the groin. In the first year of the second term of the current regime, we have seen numerous D.C. institutions gutted at the whims and direction of our leader. The Kennedy Center, renamed and about to close for 2 years. The East Wing of the White House, gone. The Washington Post, decimated. Early in Trump's first regime under Bezos' ownership, the Washington Post added the phrase, "Democracy dies in darkness," right under its masthead, both in printed and online editions. These are now dark fucking days indeed. Ooh. Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you very much. Brittany K. Thank you for this. Hi, Lewis. I'm a 42-year-old woman living in southern Indiana, only partially by choice. I spent the first 31 years of my life in Wisconsin, then decided I was done with the fucking cold, so I moved to Georgia. So now, because of my job, I'm in southern Indiana. Granted, it doesn't get nearly as cold here as my home state, but I swear, if another person says, you must be used to the cold being from Wisconsin, I will fucking lose it. I left Wisconsin for a fucking reason. I hate the cold. I loathe it with a deep-seated passion that only can be compared to how I assume men feel when their balls get stuck together in the heat of summer. Stop assuming people get used to the cold just because they're from the northern U.S. Fuck the cold. Yes, I know how to deal with it, but that's mainly because I'm not an idiot. But if I could move my job to Savannah, Georgia, I'd be gone in a second. Anyway, thank you, Louis. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you. You bitched, as you say in the end there. You bitched quite well. I wouldn't call it bitching. I'd call it dead on. I walk around screaming that. Oh, it was 4 degrees here last weekend. It got up to 27, and people were going, "Oh boy, it's so much better." Fuck you. Okay, it's still 27. This is from Jay Whistlefuck. Wouldn't that be great if it was his last name? Hey, Louis, this is just a loving PSA to anyone ever ordering online. When you place an order, please, for the love of all things fucking holy, kindly put the right fucking address on your order. You may not understand the time and effort it takes when the USPS rejects an address and I have to call you just for you to go, "Oh yeah, you have to mail it to." Why in God's great fucking domain did you not just put said address in to begin with? I beg all of you, my beautiful, beautiful brothers and sisters of humanity, to please help us e-commerce goblins out and put the right address in the first time. Love you all, and may we survive to 2028. Nice little PSA there, Mr. Whistlefuck. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Louis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Aha, Louis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.